Something for the Weekend team will soon be back recording their regular podcast. Hooray! It's always been busy here at the Oban Times at this time of year, and it's difficult to get the team together for a recording session. But we haven't been idle. As we approach the end of our summer specials, we thought we'd bring you something that was done earlier this year, but we never managed to broadcast in full. Fiona caught up with Lorn Healthy Options fitness advisor Rob Graham to find out a wee bit more about the Oban-based community-run charity and what they've been doing to help people with long and short-term health issues during lockdown and beyond. During the interview, Rob talks about the charity itself, his inspirational messages from Mull, the importance of looking after both our physical and mental health, and how the community can put something back into the service. Let's have a listen.
So, Rob Graham, hi over there in Mull.
Another beautiful day on Mull. We've had a big high in and lots of clear skies. It can be a wet place, so we're very happy to be on Mull at the minute.
Yeah, it's lovely over this side as well. Long may it last. You want to tell us a wee bit about Healthy Options and what you're doing there?
Well, Healthy Options, for those who don't know, is a little charity based in Oban. And we're quite a small team of fitness professionals, and we have a development manager and a great board behind us, a voluntary board of local businessmen and women, people from sort of health background, and they do that voluntary and are sort of fantastic at promoting the work that we do and providing guidance to the work that we do. The small team of fitness professionals, we're based mainly at Atlantis, and we also have a fitness professional who works closely with the physiotherapy department, several actually, on reablement projects where we actually go into people's houses, people who perhaps couldn't actually get to Atlantis and use gym equipment or take part in a fitness class, for example. So we go in and do work with them in their own houses to try and improve their strength, their balance, their mental health. And the hope is that the journey will continue on and that one day we can bring them into more of our core program, which is the work that we do at Atlantis. Yes, I think there's a real fear for some people around the use of gyms, and they feel that they're frequented only by lycra-clad gladiators. And it's not really the case. And we are so lucky to have such a fantastic facility such as Atlantis in a small town on the west coast of Scotland, where we can make use of specialized fitness equipment. We have a swimming pool. And I think it's really important that the local community realize how important that facility is and make full use of it. And I think some of the busiest sessions since coming back after the first lockdown were actually the healthy option sessions. So not just for people who have bulging muscles, more for those who really require rehab work and need to improve their fitness so they can get back to improving their physical function and perform activities of daily life, which may have started to become very difficult for them. So we're not about building Olympic athletes. It's just about letting people enjoy their lives. And we're all living longer these days, and there's no point living longer if you can't make use of it when you actually retire and have that time to make use of it.
Yeah, well, the clients I was speaking to were really enjoying themselves, and we're also enjoying getting back out there and communicating with other people. And it's like a little family. They were all, giving one another advice and listening to you guys, and they were really loving it. But they'd also, because they just came out of a lengthy spell of lockdown, same as the rest of us, and they were also talking about the online provision that Healthy Options gives them. And I think you yourself were a great star of the show last time around, Rob. You were Messages from Mull.
Messages from Mull, yes. That started off March 2020, so when we just went into lockdown 1. And we felt that really we should take it upon ourselves to get in contact with not just our current clients, but all the clients who'd been through Healthy Options since I had come up to Scotland. And that equated to some 600 people. So that was a lot of phone calls. And we realized that if we could develop some groups, like on a WhatsApp group, then it would allow us to contact an awful lot of people much, much easier by posting out guidance and information based around lifestyle, nutrition, and how to manage chronic health conditions. So we set up a WhatsApp group, and lo and behold, we had about 200 takers for that very, very quickly. And that was a fantastic way through lockdown for us to keep in contact with people. So the message from Mull was myself, and that tended to happen when I was out on my bicycle on the Isle of Mull. I think I probably could have done a good job for the Scottish Tourist Board at that time, because most of the feedback was about the scenery and the wildlife, and my hair for a while, which I had the lockdown hair, the lockdown locks. But also, I think a lot of people found it very encouraging to get little updates on what they could do at a very daunting time for them. And especially those who were living alone, it was a little bit of contact, usually first thing in the morning. So a lot of people said they would listen to it while they were having their breakfast. And we know that it was posted on to far and wide. So throughout England, we had a lot of takers down in Newcastle upon Tyne as well, where I used to work, and still have good contacts there. And as far as Canada and New Zealand, I believe, listening to some of the feedback from folks. But yes, it's quite strange how I meet a lot of people in Oban these days, and before I introduce myself, they say, "You're the message from Mull, man."
Oban's answer to Joe Wicks here.
Not quite, but it was great to be able to offer support and guidance to as many of our clients as possible. And the subjects revolved around lifestyle, nutrition. We did a bit of physiology and anatomy, how to improve your sleep, how to improve your mental health, which is obviously really key at the moment, and maybe how to set some goals and targets during lockdown, and not get sort of stuck inside all the time. But really, we recognize the fact that we're very, very lucky where we live, and we don't have to go very far in this part of the world to get to somewhere that's quite remote and where there's not an awful lot of people. And it's much easier than a big city to get out and about. You can still keep your distance, we can still keep safe, but the benefits from getting out into natural environments and sort of reconnecting with nature a little bit is really important. And in my opinion, we live in the best place in the world to do that. So there was a lot of encouragement to get out and about into local areas, local forest parks that were open, or natural environments that were available to people. And a lot of the feedback revolved around that. So it was amazing to see how many people started to feedback with photographs of where they've been walking, scenery they had seen, videos of where they've been walking, and wildlife that they'd seen as well. And we developed a real positive little community online, and very, very popular, and very humbling to hear the feedback from people once I actually got back to Oban, because you're never quite sure how these things are how they're going down, really.
So yeah, I mean, people were talking about them, and it was all good stuff, really positive. So
yeah, and a lot of the feedback also revolved around the locations I would find. So I'd try and go to different places on the island and set up the filming. So I had to become a bit of a director, my own director as well. So I've learned a lot about how to film in difficult conditions, sunlight, driving rain, hail. And I think one of the funniest things for most people was me trying to cope with the Scottish midge, where when you're trying to look half intellectual and you're being eaten to pieces on top of a mountain, it's quite difficult to maintain your focus. But seems to have gone down very well, and we had sort of put that on hold when we got back to Atlantis, when the facility opened up again and we were working face to face again with people, which of course is our preferred method, but we have to make the very best of the situation that we're in. And so we have reignited Message from Mull, and we've done a couple more, and we'll carry that on. I think a lot of people are quite surprised to hear that despite the nature of the work that we do, we're not funded directly by government. And we do require funding every year, and it's a constant battle, I think, to make sure that there's enough funding to run Healthy Options, which requires about £250,000 every year to operate. And believe me, I don't see that, but it does take a bit to operate a professional organization like this. And it would be nice if we were able to stand on our own feet a little bit more, especially if we were funded by the communities that we serve, or at least if we could be part funded by them. So there's a big initiative to see if people can perhaps give a little back. The idea is to increase awareness of the fact that we want to be here for many, many more years, but it's not guaranteed. And if we could get some help from our local community, then that would be absolutely fantastic, especially those that have been through Healthy Options and benefited from the work that we do. If they could find some way of giving a little back, then that would be awesome. Not everyone has a lot of money to give. Some people have also decided that they would support others in the work that they're doing, or volunteer to support other people, maybe set up Just Giving pages and things like that. So for a lot of people, they can do something. It doesn't always have to be putting their hand in their pocket directly.
Good. It's all good. And you've got a new website up and running as well.
New website, new photographs.
New photographs. I've seen the photographs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's taken a while. I think we've put so much focus into the face-to-face work that we do down the years, but we've realised that our website could be better. So yes, we have All Singing, All Dancing new website, and there's access to some really helpful materials on there. There's a portfolio of online resources now, where you can go, and there's some fitness classes that we pre-recorded on there, and there's some educational topics taken by yours truly, and some of the other staff, based around nutrition and lifestyle advice. And things you can do perhaps to get you through this, this is fairly challenging period. And it's all about making little baby steps. And if we can start to incorporate some minor changes into the way we live and exist during this time, then hopefully it'll all add up. Might be a little bit different this year. I think we're all suffering a little bit from lockdown fatigue, but hopefully there is light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccines are being are delivered.
Let's hope so, Rob. But the work you guys are doing there, I can't stress enough how good it is and how inspirational it is for a lot of people. So keep it up and keep up the messages from Mull, because we're all enjoying those.
We will, and Fiona, it works both ways. And we've always said this. We take inspiration from the people that we work with. And there's not a day goes by that we don't come back to the office when we're there, obviously, or come back to Zoom meetings. And we're just amazed at the ability and the determination of people when faced with really quite serious health conditions and long-term chronic health conditions, and their willingness to work and to turn their lives around and really change lives. And sometimes that can sound a bit cheesy, but in this case, it's really not. It's about changing people's lives and their sort of health trajectory going forward, to make sure that they don't require extra care as they age, to make sure that they don't become a burden on the NHS, and that they're not having to take lots of drugs with nasty side effects, and that their quality of life and their self-esteem can improve dramatically. But it does work both ways, and we rely on them as much as they rely on us, I think.
Oh, well, we'll look forward to hearing and seeing more of you when this lockdown eventually ends, which it will, Rob. But for just now, thanks very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too, Fiona. Take care.
We love to hear your feedback on our podcasts, so why not drop us a line, something for the weekend at obantimes.co.uk, or comment on our Instagram or Facebook pages. And if you fancy getting involved with the programme with some original music, please get in touch. That's all for this week. There'll be another new podcast, same time, same place next week. And of course, you can listen to some of our older podcasts at www.obantimes.co.uk/podcasts.